The whole world opened up to me when I learned to read. Mary McLeod Bethune, July 10th, 1875, May 18th, 1955. Every so often, you come across a quote that explains an entire life in a single sentence. Today's quote from Mary McLeod Bethune is one of those. The whole world opened up to me when I learned to read. It's a simple statement, but if you stop to think about it, she's just not talking about books. She's talking about possibility. Mary McLeod Bethune was born in South Carolina in 1875, the daughter of parents who had been enslaved. She became an educator, an advisor to presidents, a civil rights leader, and the founder of what is now Bethune-Cookman University. She understood something that still rings true today. Reading doesn't just teach us words. It expands our world. That quote also makes me think about my own childhood. Both of my parents were teachers. One of the greatest gifts they ever gave me wasn't simply teaching me how to read. It was helping me discover that reading could be enjoyable. Reading wasn't just homework. It wasn't something to finish because someone had assigned it. It was something you did because you wanted to know more. That lesson has stayed with me my entire life. I don't remember every book I read growing up, but I remember that books were simply part of life. They were my normal. There was an expectation that learning didn't stop when the school day ended. Curiosity belonged at home also. Looking back, I realized that my parents weren't just raising a reader. They were raising someone who would keep asking questions. That curiosity has shaped nearly everything I've done. It led me into technology where every new system invited me to understand how it worked. It led me into broadcasting, where every conversation or interview begins with genuine curiosity about another person's story. It's one of the reasons I enjoy biographies so much. Every biography is an invitation to spend some time inside someone else's life, to understand how they solved problems, made decisions, recovered from setbacks, and found purpose. Reading lets us borrow perspective we'll never experience ourselves, and that's especially valuable today. We're surrounded by headlines, social media posts, and short videos competing for our attention. There's nothing inherently wrong with those formats. I enjoy many of them myself. But books ask something different of us. They ask us to stay with an idea, to wrestle with it, to let it unfold over hundreds of pages instead of just a handful of seconds. That's a different kind of learning. Sometimes I think we underestimate what reading really does. Yes, it builds knowledge, but it also builds empathy. When you read history, you understand people who lived in completely different circumstances. When you read science, you discover how the universe works. And when you read fiction, you inhabit lives unlike your own. When you read thoughtful journalism, you begin to see connections you might otherwise miss. Every book expands the map in your mind. Mary McLeod Bethune's quote reminds us that reading isn't just about gathering information. It's about opening doors. And the wonderful thing is that those doors never stop appearing. Even today, I still experience that feeling when I open a new book or discover a new podcast or article that introduces an idea I've never considered. That's really what this podcast is about. Sharing those moments when something you've read, heard, or watched shifts your perspective just enough to see the world a little bit differently. This week, maybe ask yourself a simple question. What's the first book that made your world feel bigger? Maybe it was one assigned in school. Maybe it was one you stumbled across in the library or a recommendation from a friend. Or it could be the book you're reading right now. Whatever it was, there's a good chance it opened a door that's still influencing your life today. Because as Mary McLeod Bethune reminds us, the whole world really can open up when we learn to read. Thanks for listening to Calm, Clear Curiosity. Until next time, stay curious.